guys, welcome back to Cypress from Zero to Hero, and in this lesson we will talk about how to organize tests in the Cypress test files. And before we begin, let's as a first thing make an import of the Cypress dependency into the spec file. So I go to the commands.js and simply copying the first file from this file and copy pasting it into the spec.js. So this will enable IntelliSense inside of the VS Code, and it will give us a hints about Cypress library. So each test file in Cypress start with a keyword describe, or it can be context, like that. So you can use either of those. Keyword describe or keyword context defined the test suite, if you will. So this is the very first structure inside of the spec file. I will use a describe, so I just got used to use it. So then inside of the describe, inside of the single quote, you put the description for your, let's say, test suite, and I call it first test suite. Then after that, after a single quote, you put comma, then you put parentheses, it will be a callback function, and you put the body of the function using a fat arrow syntax. Fat arrow and then curly braces. And inside of the curly braces, we going into a callback function. Then inside of this function, we create a keyword it describes the body of the test itself, and the syntax is very similar. So I put in the single quote the name of our test, for example, first test, put comma, then parentheses, fat arrow, curly braces, and enter. And we are inside of the body of the test. And then here you put the code of the test itself. This is the most basic structure of the test file in the Cypress. And then inside of this describe block, you can put as many tests as you want. This is first test, this is second test, this is third test, and so on. You are not limited to have just a single describe block inside of the spec file. You can have as many describe blocks or either test suites inside of the single spec file. It's going to work as well. For example, it was first test suite, is this a second test suite? And those tests will be executed as part of the same spec file. Additionally, you can have a nested describe block, for example, as a sections of your test. If you put describe inside of the describe, and let's say we call it suite section, and parentheses, fat arrow, curly braces, and then inside of this describe you can put any other tests as well. This is how you can organize structure of the test inside the spec file. Why this can be useful? In case you want to drive the logic of the test differently, depends on the precondition. For example, for this test suite section, you want to add a beforeEach hook. beforeEach hook. And let's say this beforeEach hook will be responsible for login operation. So what beforeEach is doing, something that you want to repeat for every test can be executed inside of the beforeEach. So when the tests will be executed, first will be executed beforeEach, then this test. Then will be executed beforeEach again, then this test. But this beforeEach has no relation to the tests that are down below, because this beforeEach hook located inside of this describe block. And the code executed inside of this beforeEach is not going beyond this describe block. So this is how you can slice the execution of your test inside of the single spec file. So that's pretty much it. So simple structure. Let me delete all this. I prepare this file for our next lesson, and I will keep just a single test inside of it as a precondition for moving forward for the first test. Alright, that's it guys, and see you in the next lesson.